afternoon, East Alabama and West Georgia. Dr. Don with you on the first day of the new year, 2022. Happy New Year's to all of you folks out there this evening. It is 4:01 p.m. Central, and we are here this afternoon to talk to you a little bit about the possibility of some severe weather as we head through the overnight hours across Alabama and Georgia. And so we were going to kind of give you an update on where we stand now, where we think we are going to go as we watch this event develop all together here this afternoon. All right, so when you went to bed last night, in case you didn't catch my update this morning, I'll kind of bring you up to speed. When you went to bed last night, this graphic that you're looking at there on your smartphone or iPad, or if you're watching us on a big screen TV on YouTube, it was showing some orange all the way down into East Alabama. Then we had yellow, and then we had the green. Those are three different colors that indicate the level of risk that we face as we go into this severe weather event. The green area, which is down there around Eufaula, Troy, back up toward Auburn, is the least of 5 different levels of threat. That is the marginal risk area. And then the yellow is a 2 out of 5. That is a slight risk area. And then the orange is a 3 out of 5, which is enhanced. And then we don't have any areas covered under a moderate or high risk at this time. So this is just kind of an indication of where of the type of weather we think we're going to have. We're going to have severe weather. That's almost a guarantee with the type setup that we have this afternoon, tonight, and into early tomorrow morning. So the different levels, though, kind of give us an idea of what type of severe weather we're looking at and how widespread that severe weather would be. So this graph tells us that up in northwest Alabama, we'll stand the highest risk of seeing widespread severe weather. The yellow is a 2 out of 5 risk of seeing severe weather, and then the green is the least of all of the different level areas. So we are still expecting severe weather across East Alabama and West Georgia, even though that enhanced risk area has been pushed back up to the north just a little bit, maybe 2 or 3 counties back up to the north and northwest. But we still expect severe weather with damaging straight line winds, very heavy rainfall, dangerous lightning, some large hail is certainly possible, and a few tornadoes cannot be ruled out. Damaging winds of 60 miles per hour or greater certainly will be a possibility. And again, that tornado threat, though, is what everybody really pays attention to. And I got to tell you, it's there. Maybe not as much of a threat across East Alabama and West Georgia as we have up in northwest Alabama and up into Tennessee, but the threat is still there, and we're going to have to watch for that possibility as we go throughout the evening. Now, timing for all of this. We've got thunderstorms that are popping up well in advance of the main line that will come in here early tomorrow morning, so we could have a strong to severe thunderstorm pretty much at any time. Now, we have a brand new tornado watch that's just been issued as of 4 p.m. this afternoon that covers a good chunk of Mississippi. Well, actually, it goes all the way back to Arkansas, northern Louisiana, central and northern Mississippi, and northwest Alabama, central and west Alabama, and northeast Alabama is also covered under a tornado watch, and I'll show all of that to you here in just a few moments. I want to talk to you about the timing first, and then we'll step through a couple of different products, and then I'm going to show you the radar, and we'll talk about what's out there now and where we think it's going to go. All right, so we're looking at an 8 p.m. through about 3 or 4 a.m. event for East Alabama. Maybe some of the stuff I've been looking at is suggesting maybe a pre-dawn sunrise storm system moving through. We may be looking at closer to 4 or 5 a.m. Before we get that main line pushing through most of East Alabama and West Georgia. I'll show you the Futurecast radar in a few moments so you can kind of get an idea of at least what the computer models think we're going to be dealing with when that main line comes through. But the point I'm trying to make is we could have severe weather at any time throughout the evening, and then we'll have that threat along the main line as it pushes through in the pre-dawn hours of tomorrow morning. So kind of a 1-2 punch. Some locations may see a 3 or 4 punch if you get multiple thunderstorms before the main line moves through. So this could potentially be a long night. across Alabama and Georgia. There's one piece of information here that we're getting from the National Weather Service that may help limit the severe weather, and that is that warm nose of air. Now, you hear that terminology used a lot of times when we're talking about winter precipitation events. We'll talk about a warm nose has moved in, and that changed the precipitation from frozen precipitation back over to liquid. So we talk about that a lot during winter events, and this is a winter event up in the upper Midwest. But now that it's moved down into the southeastern United States, where it's much warmer, it's turned into a severe weather threat. But there appears to be a warm nose of air that's working its way back into the upper levels of the atmosphere across this storm system, which is warming up the atmosphere, which will take away some of that clash between cold and warm air. Of course, you have to have hot and cold to get turbulence and cause severe weather. So if that warm nose does what we think it's capable of doing, it may limit the severe weather event across Alabama and Georgia later on this evening. But as you can clearly see on the radar, there are storms out there. And all the other ingredients are already in place. So it would be, you got to use a little common sense, even though we may have a warm nose in the upper levels that may limit the widespread severe weather. If that severe weather that develops, and there will be some, if it develops over your house, then that warm nose is a non-factor because you got severe weather to deal with. So we're going to treat this as though we're going to have severe weather to deal with as we go throughout the night, and that way we will be well prepared in the event that we do have to deal with some serious stuff. All right, so there is the graphic from the National Weather Service office at Birmingham showing the storm threat level and the timing. Then we'll look at Atlanta right quick for those of you who are over in west central Georgia watching us, and you'll see that all of our west central Georgia counties are also covered under that slight risk area, and all modes of severe weather will be possible there. You go back up into northwest Georgia, and there is an enhanced risk of severe storms up there just south of Chattanooga, all across northwest Georgia. For those of you watching us up here in northeast Georgia, you're under that slight risk category as well for the possibility of severe weather. I think the best chances for severe weather across northeast Georgia will be later on tonight and probably during that main line of storms as it pushes through toward daybreak tomorrow. Though we do have at least one thunderstorm that's getting pretty strong over in northwest Georgia now, and I'll show that to you in just a few minutes. All right, let's go to the Futurecast Radar. This is what the radar thinks we're going to see as that line of storms moves through toward tomorrow morning. And look at that. Would you look at the blue? You snow lovers. Yeah, I think maybe this particular model is overdoing that just a tad. I'm going to let it loop through one more time, then I'll show you the still shot of that. There's the storm system coming through around 5 a.m. tomorrow morning. And then watch the blue up there to the northwest. Look at that. That is snow across Alabama, North Alabama, maybe a little bit across East Alabama, and then across northern Georgia for the most part, with the possibility of a changeover from rain to a mixture of rain and sleet, maybe then a little sleet and snow, and then about the time it starts to look like maybe it's going to snow a little bit, it's going to be gone. I mean, this is not going to be a snow event at all. This is not the type of setup that we have to get a good snow across the southeastern United States, and we do not anticipate any problems whatsoever from any frozen precipitation that may come in on the backside of this as it all gets pushed out of here tomorrow morning. Doesn't look like a big deal at all. All right, so now let me show you, take that off. This is what we refer to as the significant tornado parameter. This is another product that we get from the models that kind of gives us an idea of where the highest probability will be for strong, damaging tornadoes as this system comes in. And basically what this is telling us is that over in West Alabama, right along the Alabama-Mississippi state line where you see some yellows, that's the area that will be the most conducive for damaging tornadoes. You look over there in East Alabama, there is a little bit of energy there in East Alabama, but it is nothing like what we see back over in West Alabama. And that's Tornado Alley. That's where we typically do see the violent, damaging tornadoes over in northwest Alabama, over around Tuscaloosa, and then right up along the Alabama-Mississippi state line. So it wouldn't surprise me at all to see some tornado warnings coming from that part of Alabama. And then as the storm system moves off to the east, this particular product, the STP, is at least telling us that they don't think that the weather conditions will be quite as conducive for large damaging tornadoes over in East Alabama as what we may see over in West Alabama. And then so I'm going to be in trouble if I don't show you this, so I'll do it against my better judgment. All right, so there is the radar shot, valid at, this is actually Monday morning. This is wraparound moisture that may come in here late tomorrow night into early Monday morning, and it could produce some light snow showers or probably flurries more than anything else across East Alabama. That's this particular shot showing some pretty good snow over Talladega County, back over into Clay County, up into Cleburne, and central and northern Randolph. Is showing some pretty good snow right here as well. Again, this is at 4 a.m. Monday morning. Now, this is not going to happen tonight. It'll be Monday morning. So we got plenty of time to watch that. We've got to deal with severe weather, though, before there's any chance of seeing any snow. So let's go to the radar next, and here is the live radar. This actually is the composite. This is showing the entire southeastern United States. All of those pink pulsating colors you see there, those are the tornado outlines for the tornado watches that are currently in place. And we have that brand new one that was just issued for west central and northeast Alabama. And you can see that watch extends all the way back to Shreveport, Mississippi, and Shreveport, Louisiana, and then stretches back down to around Jackson, Mississippi, and then just south of Livingston, Alabama, and then back up across central Alabama up to around Fort Payne. So this is a tornado watch that's just gone in place, and that is valid. Let's see, expires at 10 p.m. tonight. Now, the Storm Prediction Center is already telling us that there's a fairly good likelihood that we'll see this watch extended further to the east as the storms back over here in Mississippi get going and start moving into West Alabama. They will start adding a tier or two of counties to this watch as the storm system starts to move east. Now, this watch is for the storms that are forming out ahead of the main line. This really has nothing to do with that main frontal system, which is still way back up here across Tennessee and back into Arkansas. So, again, we're watching for the possibility of some of these storms going severe well in advance of that main line. So that means we could see showers and thunderstorms across East Alabama. We got some light stuff out there now, but storms that could potentially go severe, that could start anytime after about 8 or 9 o'clock tonight. So let's go ahead and take you, well, let's go up here first, and let's zoom in. We do have one tornado warning I want to show you. Now, this is in extreme southern Tennessee. This is right across the Tennessee River, up in the state of Tennessee. Actually, the extreme southern end of this storm may actually extend down into Alabama. This is north and west of Athens, Alabama, right along the Alabama-Tennessee state line, and it's going to be for a strong thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado up here. That's the only tornado warning that we have out for the moment. Let me zoom all the way out, look at the entire eastern United States, and you get a good feel for just how large this storm system is. The anchoring low pressure is up here around Kansas City, and then look at all that. I mean, we're talking rain from Boston all the way back down basically to the Texas-Louisiana state line. I mean, that's the entire eastern and southeastern United States covered by this one storm system that has developed this afternoon, and it will be moving east. All right, so now let's go back in. Let's zoom back in, and I want to go down to East Alabama. And we're going to probably leave it right there. And let's take off the composite and go back to the next red. Take just a second for that to populate. There we go. And let's go in tight. A couple of things I want to look at. Number one, we have a storm developing down here in extreme northeastern Tallapoosa County, southwest of Wadley, and also up in extreme northwest Chambers County. Let's get a motion on that. And it is basically moving north, maybe a little bit east of due north. Not severe. I don't see anything severe in this storm at the moment, but a nice little thunder shower headed at you, Wadley, Alabama. Zoom back out, and then let's go back north. We have a cell down here in just north of I-20 in Cleburne County. That's near Coldwater. We'll go back to the current loop and stop it there. This is in Coldwater, north of Fruithurst, just south of Oak Level. That's moving to the northeast. That's going to be moving over the Alabama-Georgia state line here in just a bit, and we'll end up over there just north of Tallapoosa. And then we have another strong thunderstorm that appears to be weakening. Well, let me say that. Let me go back to the Atlanta radar first. Let's look at it from that vantage point. And so the radar just quit on me. Okay, all right, so let's switch back to the Atlanta severe weather graphic while I reset the radar. Those of you who are watching us on social media, thank you for joining us this afternoon. And we welcome those of you listening to us via radio this afternoon on WJHO 89.7 The Classic and God's Country 90.9 WFAZ. We appreciate you folks joining us via radio. All right, I think we are ready to go back to the radar. Yeah, we got it now. And there we are. All right, so I wanted to look at these two storms over here around the state line. That we have that one coming through Coldwater in Cleburne County, and then we have that secondary storm further upstream between Adairsville and really between Adairsville and Rome. It is pretty strong, just to the southwest of Rome, moving to the northeast, crossover I-75. They're just north of Cartersville the next hour or so. But none of this is severe. We have no severe weather warnings at all in East Alabama or West Georgia. We do have a special weather statement for that one storm south of Rome. But as I come back down and take a look at East Alabama, that little shower to the southwest of Wadley and the one up there in north central Cleburne County, northeast of Anniston, moving to the northeast is all that I see up there. So we're going to go back to the Birmingham radar if everybody cooperates. There we go. That worked. And so that's where we're at. Just scattered light showers for the most part. A little thunder over there on the Alabama state line. Nothing severe threatening East Alabama or West Georgia at the moment. And again, I think if any of the storms that are running out ahead of the main front are going to go severe, at least for East Alabama and West Georgia, it will be later on tonight, probably after 8 or 9 p.m. And then we'll deal with that main line of storms that will come through here well after midnight, probably toward daybreak. And then Sunday is going to be a cold, raw day. We're going to start the day in the 60s. Then the temperature will crash during the afternoon. It'll be kind of yucky all day long on Sunday. We're talking about a misty, foggy type day. The heavier rain will certainly be in the morning. And then as we get into the overnight hours, our temperature is really going to start to bottom out. And as it gets colder and colder, we may see some of that moisture it's kind of like taking a sponge and wringing us out a sponge. As that cold air moves in, it tries to wring out all of the moisture out of the air. And as that takes place, we could see a mixture of rain, sleet, maybe even a little snow mixed in with it. In the higher elevations, the chances of this happening are much better north of I-20. But as I showed you just a few moments ago, at least one model, and listen folks, there are hundreds of them, but at least one is showing the possibility that we could see a snowflake or two across East Alabama, and that would be early Monday morning, if it happens at all. We're going to keep an eye on that model and the rest of them to see if they may change their mind before we get there. So for the radio stations that have joined us, I'm going to pause just for a minute and give you a chance to take it back to regular programming. For those of you who are watching us on social media, after I stand by for just a minute, let the stations break away, I'll go to the chat room and see if anybody has any questions. So if you have questions, post them now. I will answer them for you, or try to, and then we'll wrap this up. We're not going to do wall-to-wall coverage here until there's a need, because there's a potential that need could happen tonight, and it could be a long-duration event. So I need to conserve as much as I can until that time comes. So, again, thanks to all of you folks who've been listening to us on WJHO and WFAZ, the classic and God's country in Ashland, Alabama, all across East Alabama. We appreciate you folks joining us, and we will be back with you as conditions warrant and bring you more severe weather coverage right here on Dr. Don's Weather. Folks, Dr. Don back in here with you. Now we go a little less formal and just kind of look around the radar, talk about what we're looking at, chit-chat with you, answer any questions you may have. If you have questions, post them in the chat room, and I'll try to answer those for you. We'll hang out with you. What time is it? 4:23. We'll hang out with you till the bottom of the hour. So about another 7 minutes, I'll be available to answer any questions that you might have. And talk to you a little bit more about what we're looking at. Right now, there's nothing to be concerned about out there. We've got one strong thunderstorm way up there at extreme northeast Mississippi that's about to move into the Florence area. And then we have a tornado warning up there right along I-65, just northwest of Huntsville. But the stuff, for the most part, in Alabama, we're not looking at anything severe so far. And quite honestly, the storms back over Mississippi have not gone severe yet either, though it's still early. So there's still plenty of time, and I'll go back to the composite so we can get a accurate depiction of what we're looking at in Mississippi. We've still got plenty of time to get these storms going out there this afternoon and tonight. So let's see if we have any questions up here. We got all kind of folks in the room with us. Lake Martin is in the house. There's Woodland, Alabama. Betty's watching us up in Graham. Happy New Year to you. Hope y'all had your black-eyed peas, cornbread, and collard greens. We did. We have eaten very well today. Ava Community, Broaden Ridge, LaGrange, Georgia. All right, so yeah. Weather Channel does their what do they call that thing? Torcon. Torcon. They have come up with their own little gimmick thing that they use. I'm not knocking them by no stretch of the imagination, but that's that Torcon thing they do. Sometimes they will, and I'm not trying to minimize this whole situation at all. I mean, this could break bad at any moment. And it could be a long night for East Alabama and West Georgia. Understand the atmosphere is ripe. It's all the ingredients are are in the neighborhood. We're just waiting to see if they're going to all come together or not. Sometimes the Weather Channel will they'll inflate those numbers a little bit. That makes more of you stay glued to their television channel all night long. So just take that with a grain of salt. And yellow is a 2 from the Storm Prediction Center. And that's Storm Prediction Center is who is from the government side anyway. That's who's in charge of doing the weather. There are a lot of private companies out there that do weather, and they come up with their own scales and their own ways to assess the severe weather threat, and there's certainly nothing wrong with that. But we stick with the National Weather Service here, Dr. Don's Weather. I mean, I am not a meteorologist. I never have claimed to be a meteorologist. If I had it all to do over again, I probably would have, but I'm not. So as far as watches and warnings and severe weather, I stay with the National Weather Service and what they're putting out there. Those guys and gals are intelligent people and know what they're doing. Let's see what else we've got here. Yeah, we've got some light showers out there. Note there that we had some light showers in Alex City a few minutes ago. We've got some light showers moving into southwest Randolph there, northeast Tallapoosa, southeast Clay County, northwest Chambers. We've got some light showers this afternoon, but nothing severe and not even close to reaching severe limits. Yeah, it's a big can of worms. Rock. Oxford's asking the question, time frame on their severe weather. Well, you know, it all depends, and this goes for all of East Alabama and West Georgia. If we get these individual thunderstorms popping up that go severe, then we may be looking at a severe event much sooner than we originally thought. But if the thunderstorms running out ahead of the main line don't go severe, then we won't have a severe weather threat until the main line comes through, which will be well after midnight tonight. So basically the window for severe weather is, that window's starting to crack now. It's certainly not open yet. I think within the next couple of hours it will open, and then we'll have an opportunity for severe weather for the remainder of tonight into tomorrow morning. So I hope that answers your question, Oxford, and that goes for all of East Alabama and West Georgia. If you're anywhere east of I-65 in Alabama and south of I-20 in Alabama and Georgia, if you're, right there on the state line, that window of opportunity for thunderstorms to go severe starting to open now. I think by 4:30 now. I think by 5:30 or 6 that window will be wide open, and we'll just have to watch to our west and see what's out there and what's coming our way. And it is certainly possible that we won't have anything before the line, that it may be after midnight toward daybreak before that main line gets here, and that may be the only threat that we end up having. I certainly hope so. Hopefully both situations will be a bust and we won't have severe weather at all. But if you'll look up there in northeast Mississippi, you can see those thunderstorms, that line that's forming there from just south of Shelbyville, Tennessee, down to Tupelo, Mississippi, and then back down to Jackson. You can see that line of thunderstorms is beginning to intensify with each volume scan. Let me put it in motion, run it current, and then let me back it up. Yeah, it's very obvious. Now that right there was 2 hours ago. You see that line from Winona, Mississippi down to Jackson, Mississippi. Now let me bring it forward. Watch it grow. It is growing in intensity. You see the Reds are beginning to show up. The yellows are getting darker. There's more yellow. The greens are getting darker. And then we just got a severe thunderstorm warning that's just popped up on this storm in Mississippi right along the Alabama state line. So this line of storms, no question, it is intensifying as it moves toward Alabama. So we'll have to see what this line does once it gets into West Alabama and starts heading toward East Alabama. This is probably a 9 or 10 p.m. arrival in East Alabama, this line that's coming through East Mississippi. And then the main line is still way back over here in Arkansas. The back edge of it now stretching down to around Little Rock, Arkansas, down to Shreveport. And that's probably a 4 to 5 a.m. arrival in East Alabama and West Georgia. So that's what we're doing right now. We're just kind of looking out the window to see what's happening off to our west, and then we will adjust accordingly. Looks like it may be a long night for East Alabama and West Georgia. It certainly could be. There is nothing out there right this moment to be concerned about, but it certainly could develop. The ingredients will be in place for that to happen. Our weather is bipolar. Well, I have to agree with you on that one, especially for this time of year. I mean, it does happen that we have tornadoes in January, but not very often. That is pretty rare. And then the events of yesterday is what's gotten me just all confused. I mean, in Georgia, yesterday afternoon around 5:30, we had 2 thunderstorms that went tornadic almost at the exact same time. One of them was down around Villa Rica or Temple, Georgia. The other one was near Covington, which is just east of downtown Atlanta on I-20. And they both produced a tornado from what is classified as a low precipitation supercell thunderstorm, meaning that there was very little rain, very little lightning. The storm cell was extremely small, but it produced a tornado. And in both situations, we had damage. We had injuries in the Covington storm, actually transported to the hospital on that one. Thankfully, nothing life-threatening. And then they both dissipated at about the same time. And nobody saw it coming. I mean, I'm just going to be honest with you. I thought the National Weather Service did a phenomenal job in picking up on it and getting the warnings out there. But I promise you, they were not sitting there in front of the computer just waiting to see a severe thunderstorm pop up, because the conditions were just not conducive for that yesterday afternoon. I mean, yeah, it was possible it could happen, but it just wasn't a stormy afternoon. And then all of a sudden, boom, we have 2 tornado warnings all of a sudden. Then we had another one later on, I think, for Paulding and Cobb. That one didn't produce anything, but that was pretty bizarre. I got to be honest with you. I've been doing this a long time. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that. And here's the deal. These LP supercell thunderstorms don't develop east of the Mississippi. They just don't. But they did yesterday. These are type storms you would see out in Arizona and out in the Midwest. We had them in Georgia yesterday afternoon. So I'm just scanning through the chat room here to see if there's any more questions. Question about Bowden. Bowden, you're in the same boat as East Alabama. We're looking at scattered showers this afternoon. Probably by 9 or 10 o'clock tonight, some of those storms could get strong. I think our chances for severe weather will increase as we go throughout the evening. But the main show, if you will, probably will not come in until the main line of storms makes it into East Alabama and West Georgia well after midnight, probably toward daybreak. So I know a lot of you are going to go to bed tonight, and I understand. But make sure you have a good source of severe weather information, and make sure that you have it on an appliance that is going to wake you up. That's why I preach Noaa Weather Radio. Those little units cost $35 to $45. You put batteries in them, so if your power fails, it still works. And it connects to the closest National Weather Service transmission tower. It doesn't even use digital stuff. It's transmitted the old way through analog transmission. And it's a radio. It receives a signal from a transmitter, and when a warning is issued for your area, the National Weather Service sets off an alarm that will wake the dead. Trust me. And so you need to have one of those radios, and it needs to be sitting on your nightstand right beside your bed. So get yourself a Noaa weather radio. Hey, if you're in East Alabama and West Georgia, you got time to run to the big box store and get one right now before things get dicey later on this evening. So if you don't have a Noaa weather radio, go get one. Then you need to make sure that you have a good app downloaded on your phone, one that is going to go off in the middle of the night and wake you up. Now, your phone comes already activated to the National Alert System. You know, the Amber Alerts that you get on your phone. Well, that same system will bring you tornado warnings. It's not going to go off for a tornado watch. It's not going to go off for a severe thunderstorm warning. But if a tornado warning is issued for your area, your phone already has a built-in app that's going to alert you unless you have purposely turned it off. And if you have purposely turned it off, then you know how to do that, and you should purposely turn it back on as we speak, so that while you're asleep tonight, that thing will wake you up if a warning is issued for your area. And that if you want to turn it back off tomorrow after the severe weather threat ends, then that's okay. That's why I advocate not turning those WIA alerts off on your phone, because what will happen is you'll forget to turn it back on when you need it. So turn it back on if you've turned it off, so that you'll have it available for you tonight. So then you'll have two different ways on your phone of receiving severe weather information. You'll have that weather app that you downloaded, and you'll have your built-in WIA alerts that you'll get from the National Weather Service. And remain weather aware. Make sure your friends and your family know that there is a chance for severe weather tonight into first part of tomorrow. Make sure you know where your safe place is. If you live in a mobile home, make sure that you have a plan to evacuate that mobile home. And I always say the best idea is have a plan to evacuate a mobile home when a tornado watch is issued for your area. Remember that a tornado watch means that conditions in and around the watch are conducive for severe thunderstorms that are capable of producing tornadoes. A tornado warning means that a tornado has been spotted, or radar is indicating a thunderstorm that is capable of producing a tornado. So don't confuse those. A watch just means watch out, possible tornadoes. A warning means one has been spotted, or the radar says that one is in the process of developing. So you should evacuate your mobile home when a watch is issued. You'll have plenty of time to go to that safe place, whether it be across the street at a friend's house or across town at a friend or loved one's home. You'll have time to do it if you do it when the watch is issued. You never wait until a warning is issued to evacuate a mobile home. It is too late then. And the last thing you want to do is leave the mobile home and get in an automobile and get caught in the middle of a tornado in an automobile. An automobile is as bad as a mobile home in a tornado. Those 70 mile per hour to 200 mile per hour winds that we typically see in tornadoes in the South will blow an automobile around like it's a matchbox. So you don't want to be in an automobile or a mobile home during a tornado. So keep all of that in mind. Now, if you live in a home or even in your place of business, the safest place to go is in the lowest floor interior room, such as if you have a basement, that's the best place to go. But you want to go into a closet, a hallway, a bathroom, and is close to the middle of the lowest floor in your home or place of business as you can. That's your safe spot. You want to make sure you carry blankets, pillows, mattresses, a mattress off a baby bed, a futon, cushions off of the couch. Make sure you carry those with you. If your children have got bicycle helmets, football helmets, motorcycle helmets for the grown-ups. These are all great items to protect your head. Make sure that you have on adequate clothing. Make sure that you have on hard sole shoes so that in the event that you have a structural collapse around you, you'll be able to get out of that. And you want to carry something into your safe place with you that allows you to make noise, such as a whistle or a can of compressed air, those little horns you can get at the big box store. Carry those in there with you so that in the event that you get trapped and you can't get out, you've got some way of getting someone else's attention that maybe can come to your rescue. So these are just all good ideas, good things to know. You know, here's the deal, folks, and there's no reason to be worried or have anxiety over severe weather, because if you're listening to me talk about it, then you're doing 90% of what you need to do to start with, and that's being weather aware. Most injuries and fatalities in severe storm situations can be avoided if you simply know what's happening around you and protect yourself the best that you can. Most of the injured, look, and I'm not being negative, but some of the injured folks last night in that situation, I'm not even going to call the name of the town, but one of the situations we had in Georgia last night during the surprise tornado, there were people injured that were literally sitting on the curb out in the parking lot. Because they didn't, of course, that was a pop-up situation. Nobody knew that was going to happen. But a warning was issued before it actually hit. It was a very short-fused warning, but one was issued. But they just didn't know. They didn't know what was going on. And so had they known, then they could have gone and seek shelter and maybe could have avoided the minor injuries that they sustained last night. So surviving severe weather, 90% of it is simply knowing what's going on. Understand how to read a map. Know where you're located on a map. Understand where the weather system is coming from. Know the counties that surround your county so that you folks in Randolph County, when a tornado warning is issued for Clay County, you know that our storms are moving from west to east, and Clay County is west of Randolph, so that means that storm is coming directly toward Randolph County. You need to know these things. It's not rocket science. It's pretty easy stuff, but you need to take time to learn it and understand it and know where you are on a map so that in the event that we have severe weather break out, you can take on some responsibility of protecting yourself and keeping yourself safe during severe weather. There's always the chance that I could get knocked out up here and you may get cut off from all outside communications, and you just may have to take action yourself and understand how to keep yourself safe during severe weather. So identify your safe place in your home if you don't do anything else. Make sure your friends and family or anybody that's going to be in the house with you knows where that safe place is. And same thing for business. Know where you're supposed to go to evacuate for severe weather. Large open span rooms and buildings are the worst place to be. So make sure that your management understands that there is a threat of severe weather tonight, and make sure that they know and that you and all of your coworkers know where you are supposed to go in the event that a tornado warning is issued for your area. I know that we've got several plants and factories around that operate 24 hours, and just make sure you know where you're supposed to go during severe weather. All right, so now that I'm off of that soapbox, let's see if we've got any questions. Is the air warm enough in east central Alabama? It certainly is. We've had breaks in the clouds today. We've had sunshine, temperatures in the upper 70s, a few 80s. Would not even surprise me at all this afternoon. I'm trying to turn the satellite. Yeah, here we go with the satellite. We're losing some of the sunlight now as we're headed towards sunset, but it's kind of hard to see. Go there. That's not any better. All right, so apparently we have a lot of sunshine across East Alabama this afternoon, so that's going to raise the temperature up, and that's going to help. That is what helps produce convection. So yes, the warmth this afternoon will certainly aid in the formation of storms. And as these storms coming out of Mississippi get into central Alabama and then over into East Alabama, where there's been a pretty good bit of sunshine this afternoon, they could intensify. Yeah, I'm about to wrap this up, Cindy. I said 4:30. Here it is, 4:45. I do it every time. Omaha, you're in East Alabama. You're in the same boat with everybody else. Showers and thunderstorms possible. The further we go into the night, the greater that risk is going to be. And then the main line comes through around daybreak tomorrow morning. Hello, Country Club Road. Nice to have you with us. Jacksonville, Alabama. Yeah, I always keep an eye on Jacksonville. I know we got a lot of young ones going to school up there, so I've always got Jackson. Even though Jacksonville is not in our immediate coverage area, I'll always keep an eye on Jacksonville, Troy, of course, Auburn. It is in our coverage area. And I also keep an eye on Tuscaloosa, where those big schools are. Just to be on the safe side. We got young ones scattered out everywhere. I get it. All right, question. Will it be safe to go grocery shopping at 6 p.m., between 6 and 8 p.m. tonight? Yeah, I think so. I mean, if you were talking about going grocery shopping in East Alabama, yeah, I think you're fine. I would not expect anything severe until after 8 p.m., so I think if you're back home by, 8 or 9, I think you're fine. If you're going grocery shopping, if you're leaving the house and you're going grocery shopping, go on by that store, you know where it's at, and get you one of those Noaa weather radios. And look, folks, they're not that difficult to program. One thing you're going to need to know is which channel do I tune it to? I have people text me all the time asking that question, and that's fine. But all you have to do is go to drdonwx.com. That's our website. And then go over to the More button up there at the top where all the different pages are located. And you'll see a page totally dedicated to Noaa Weather Radio. And when you go to that page, you're going to see a map of the state of Alabama, and then you'll see a map of the state of Georgia. If you'll click on those maps, it'll show you, depending on where you are in the state, which one of the frequencies you should tune your Noaa Weather Radio to. And there's lots of other information on there about Noaa Weather Radio. And there's also some instructions on there about how to program them. Now, I know there are different models, but typically or basically they all program the same way, or pretty close to the same way. So lots of information on our website on Noaa Weather Radio. Go get one of those radios and get you some batteries. I think they take AA's now. Just check the box and see what kind of batteries they take, and put some batteries in one of those radios. You need one. I mean, that is a good way to get severe weather information during, if all else fails, that radio is still going to work, especially if you've got batteries in it. East Alabama is still in a level 2 threat. Yes, that is correct. I'll go back up to the... There it is. There's the Alabama graphic showing all of East Alabama. Still covered under the level 2 threat. But folks, please don't get too caught up on this. I mean, this is just a way for us media folks to kind of give you an idea of what the threat level is. Mother Nature doesn't know or care anything about this. So at the moment, things do not look too bad. But as we go throughout the night, we start telling you, we've got severe weather. It's getting bad out there. It's coming your way. Don't sit back and say, oh, well, I'm not worried about it. It's only level 2. Actually, a level 2 is rather significant in the weather world. If you've been following this very long, you'll understand that. You pay attention under marginal. You raise an eyebrow under slight. You raise both eyebrows under enhanced. You start running for cover under moderate. And if you ever get that purple on top of you, it's probably time to evacuate and go somewhere else. So slight is significant. So just keep that in mind as we go throughout this evening. Penn, Alabama in the house. Mother Nature may have had a long night last night. I hope not. Pine Mountain, Georgia. Hello, West Georgia. Yeah, we pay attention to you. Pine Mountain is on our coverage area. We do consider Harris County as one of our coverage counties there in West Central Georgia. And everything that comes through Alabama is coming to you. So everything I have said about East Alabama will eventually move into West Georgia. So scattered showers, thunderstorms should continue to increase in number throughout the evening. And then the main line comes through toward daybreak tomorrow morning for Pine Mountain, Georgia. We were just over there. Yeah, we were at Callaway just the other night. Went through and did the light thing. Oh, shoot. Cassandra, they were sold out. Really? Well, everybody must have listened to me yesterday and went and got their radios yesterday. Well, okay, but Cassandra, here's the deal. I'm about to put you in timeout because that is not the first time you've heard me say that. I've been preaching this for years, and I know you've been following us for years. So, yeah. All right, so if you go to that store or stores around East Alabama and West Georgia and you can't find the Noaa weather radio for tonight's event, go online and order one so that the next time we have to deal with the severe weather, you'll have one. Don't wait, because Cassandra's she's the poster child for why you shouldn't wait. You go to try to get one when there's a significant threat coming and everybody else has beat you to the draw and you can't get one. That happens. I understand that. My daughter does that. She always waits until it looks like it's going to get bad, and she runs and tries to get one, and they don't have them. So go ahead and order one online. There are a lot of outlets online where you can order one, so at least you'll have it by the time we have our next round of severe weather, and we will. This is not going away anytime soon. Thank you, Cindy. Yeah, it's we have several counties, rural counties in East Alabama and West Georgia. It's kind of left out when it comes to major coverage from our major stations in Birmingham and Atlanta. So we try to fill that gap as best we can. Thanks, Michelle. I appreciate that. Cindy says 78 degrees in Roanoke. Wouldn't be surprised at all. That's about right, as a matter of fact. I think we were predicting 77 or 78 for the high today in Roanoke, so not surprised to see that. That's too warm. It is too warm for the first day in January. 82 in Jacksonville. Wow. All right, so, windy. And that's something I hadn't talked about a lot today, and I meant to. All right, so we're kind of in that gradient again. The winds that you're seeing right now are not thunderstorm-based winds. This is because we're caught between two weather systems, and the squeeze play effect is taking place now as we're caught between high pressure and low pressure. And as those two systems just kind of squeeze in on us, the winds are trying to escape, so they're picking up in forward speed as they're getting squeezed out of the area. So that's where the winds are coming from. And we'll continue with gusty winds, maybe up to 30 miles per hour from time to time, away from thunderstorms. So when these bigger storms move in on top of the winds we already have, you can only imagine what we could end up with. So I've already seen several power outages, and we don't even have any thunderstorms in the area. And that wind is going to continue, at least until we get the main line through here. Well, see, either of two things are going to happen when I go live. My youngest redheaded kid is going to call, Shelby. He does it every single time. But the reason he didn't do it tonight is because he can't find his phone. He's actually here and has lost it downstairs. We were looking for it before I went on. So that's why he hasn't called. But then Jonathan Jones, who is my adopted son, He normally calls too every time I go live. And if you heard the phone ring just a while ago, that was him. And as he normally does me when I call him, I hung up on him. So he is he's down in South Georgia, or was yesterday. He's the guy. I talk about him a good bit because when I get bored anyway. He helps me out on the technical end of things with our website and our app. I was a huge help getting our app put together. He is down in South Georgia, down there on the south end. So if y'all hear me talk about South Georgia from time to time, that's why. We have an extended family down that way. All right, let's see what else we got here. We got to wrap this up. Chicken and dumpling and Hoppin' John's. Turnip greens and cornbread. Wow. Miss Carolyn. That is some right good eating right there. That sounded fantastic. All right, so we had pork roast, black-eyed peas, collard greens, sweet taters. Samantha did the cornbread for us. It was fantastic. I turned Shelby on to chow chow. He'd never had that before. So we ate pretty good up on the mountain this afternoon as well. Had a big breakfast and then turned right around and immediately started cooking lunch. That's just the way we roll. I'm not cooking anymore today, though. We're going to eat leftovers for supper. I got you, Columbus. 77 in Woodland. Yeah, Clay, you're going to get it before the rest of East Alabama because you're actually, Talladega is our first county in East Alabama that we cover. And then Clay is second, and then Randolph, and then just south of there, of course, you have Coosa, Tallapoosa, Chambers, and then Lee, and then our West Georgia county. So, yep, you're in East Alabama. You will likely see it before the rest of East Alabama. You know, folks, I am not a wizard. I do not have a crystal ball. I cannot tell you for sure that we're going to have severe weather in any particular location. All I can tell you is the atmosphere is conducive. And the National Weather Service feels like that there is a good chance that we will see severe weather across East Alabama and West Georgia tonight. It looks like that the risk is higher up in Northwest Alabama, but there is a decent risk across East Alabama and West Georgia. You know, obviously, we're all hoping that it's a complete bust and we don't have anything to deal with. But it looks better than average chance here that we will have to deal with some severe weather across the region tonight. And especially when that cold front comes through toward daybreak tomorrow morning. Hey, there's another good idea. If you still have your Christmas decorations up, you might want to go out there and yank them down this afternoon, especially if you have those blow-up thingies that sit out there in the yard, because, I mean, it's already windy enough to tear those things up. Then you start getting some thunderstorm winds in on top of it. That could be dangerous. If you have a trampoline, Samantha, she's already taken care of her. She had somebody go do it for her. If you have a trampoline, make sure it is anchored down. It doesn't take but about a 15 to 20 mile per hour sustained wind to turn a trampoline into a dangerous projectile and cause a lot of damage. Not to mention you lose the trampoline. So make sure your trampolines are good and secure So when this weather moves in here tonight, they don't take off and leave you and end up in your neighbor's living room. Oh, look at that. Deer chili and crock pot, cornbread, collard greens, sweet taters, black-eyed peas. That does sound good. And I'll have to be honest with you, chili's about the only way I'll eat venison. I know. And I was a big hunter for years. I just never have been able to adapt a real appetite for venison other than in chili. I do like it in chili pretty good. So that does sound good. All right, folks, so that's it. We are at 5 o'clock. We've been on for 1 hour, and I'm going to shut it down for now. I will be watching this, and if the tornado watch is extended further east, and I think that it will be probably by 9 or 10 o'clock tonight, I think it will get pushed further east. I'll certainly come back then. That's kind of where our threshold is for going with wall-to-wall coverage. Or if things look like they're going to calm down, I'll come back and update you on that as well. Or if we start seeing some severe weather, of course, I'll come back then immediately. So it's 5 o'clock Central. I would expect to be back with you sometime in the 7 p.m. hour, sometime between 7 and 8 p.m. with another update, unless something drastic changes prior to that time. So we'll leave it like that and tell you to remain weather aware as we go throughout the rest of the evening. We will be here with you, bringing you severe weather information on Dr. Don's Weather. And I thank you for listening to us this afternoon. We'll see you back in here real soon. Bye for now.